Alright, I'm going to get started with the astrodoodle and wait to see if anybody shows up. Hello, hi Maria. Hello, Ivona. Okay, let's have a look. What do we got going here? Okay, just going to put this over to the side, make some room, and actually I'm going to play a little bit of music while I'm doing this because I have to concentrate. Alright, if you don't mind. Yeah, let me just... Yeah. Alright, I've got to keep going. I have to do some more work here. Give me a second. So I've done my elementary astro doodle. Oh, little Bubba's here. Oh my gosh. He probably won't like this, but I think let's do the ceremonies. Okay, stay right there. Little Bubba wants to say hello. For some reason, I don't know why. All of a sudden, he's like, hello. Come on up. Come on. Come on, Bubba. You're going to be a star. Here he is. Here he is. There's little Bubba. He's like a stoner today. He's like a little stoner. Right. Oh boy. So, thank you, folks, for being here. It's going to be a very quiet evening, I can promise you. I'm feeling very strange. Nothing bad. Oh no, I don't have to feed Bubba for about 2 more hours, so we're good. Thank you, Ivona. And Ivona, you said something about the more news on the volcano in the La Palma, the Canary Islands. I didn't catch up with that. But I think it's still going. I think it's still happening. There's so many weird things happening in the news now. Let me go back over here a second. Okay, so this is my astrodoodle for the day. Sunday, 26th September 2021. This is Planet Earth perspective. But of course, as you know, people who've been here before, hello Karen. These are just the placements of the planets from the perspective of Earth. But they affect each one of us in a different way because all of us are configured differently. So I consider this sacred geometry. All these planets and sacred heavenly bodies are whizzing around thousands of miles an hour, and they exert a gravitational pull one way or another. So this would be, for example, if you just happen to be an Aries rising with a very strong ascendant over here, the planets would be impacting you in this way. So all of these points on your personal astrology chart would be triggered. Now, it doesn't mean you have those, but these are the trigger points. So if you happen to have a strong Scorpio aspect somewhere or a Capricorn aspect somewhere, yeah, you're going to be triggered. So, excuse me. What I noticed about this, I mean, this is, another astrodoodle, but what I noticed today in particular is the Mercury retrograde. We're right on the point of Mercury stationary retrograde over here. So what does that mean for us? Over here. So these are just a bunch of squiggles and numbers that represents the movement of the planets through our solar system. It's extremely accurate. It's the same information they use for, spaceships going to Jupiter and Mars and Venus and the moon. It's just what do you do with the information. But anyway, if you look at this, you've seen this before. We've got Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto all retrograde. They're all still retrograde. Now we add to the mix Mercury retrograde. That is a lot of retrogrades. It's pretty rare to have 6 planets retrograde at the same time. So it's going to change soon because we're heading into October season, which is like we're already in Libra season. And you can see that in a matter of 3 weeks' time, Pluto's going to go direct. Saturn's going to go direct. Jupiter's going to go direct at the same time that Mercury's going to go direct. So, If you feel like you've been backpedaling through your life and you're being, let's say, forced to consistently reconfigure your life according to energies and patterns and influences that feel as though they're outside of you, like it's not your business, that would be normal. And we're even under more pressure now, especially with global communications over here. Mercury is in Libra, so have a look. Sun, Mars, and Mercury are all in Libra right now. This is the 7th house of relationship, of relationships, of the open enemy, of marriage. You know, each energy field has its own version of expression depending on how we interpret that energy and how we consciously make the best of the energy fields. If you are in your life and you're operating from a very, let's say, unevolved perspective where you are always living at the mercy of the energies of these planets, then that's a life of reaction. You're constantly reacting to the energy fields. Whereas if you think of it as becoming conscious, what happens is you allow your consciousness to be aware of the energy fields. You allow yourself to sense them. The best way to do that is through meditation, through resting, and through deliberately asking for the healing power of love to come into your life from up above, so that you can understand the energies, so that instead of being a victim of the energies, you can actually run with it, like surfing. Again, I'm not an expert surfer, but with surfing, you either ride the wave or you are crushed by the wave. And these waves are perpetual for all time. Okay? So right now we have the Sun in Libra and Mars in Libra, very close together. That can be a very combative energy. That can be a very competitive energy in the area of relationships. It could be warlike. Okay? Now, it just so happens that that huge country called CHINA has a very important Libra aspect. And you might have noticed that CHINA has become extremely aggressive, hyper-aggressive, just like a bully or a thug in a school playground. And they keep doing that until somebody or something stops them. Question is, nobody really wants to face up to them right now, so they're getting away with a lot of stuff that is really nasty. Okay? And what it's doing is it's stripping away the sovereign rights of the individual. If you've noticed that there's a lot of people over in CHINA, there's about 1.4 billion, and at least 400 million of them refused to acknowledge the ruling party over there. So there's a lot of internal conflict, okay, with CHINA. By the way, when I'm mentioning that, this is what I'm talking about. It's over here, this place over here. We've talked about this many times. Now, the other thing that's going on is that this place over here is desperate. They are absolutely desperate. They have so many people, and they need to be fed, watered, hosed down, provided with the substances of life. And so they are going all across the world, everywhere, trying to suck up and capture every resource for themselves because they need it, especially food. Right now, for example, there are like 3,500 fishing vessels from over here that are fishing in these protected waters over here and here. They go all over the place, and they do it by turning off all their tracking mechanisms. So it's very hard to stop these people. These folks here have a huge problem with feeding their people as well. The same thing over here. There's just 7.5 billion people on the planet, and everybody is starting to realize, like, wow, we've kind of filled it all up, you know. 50 years ago, people didn't talk about this stuff. 50 years, 100 years ago, 25 years ago, they didn't talk about this stuff. I mean, the biggest event, I would say, was the bombing of Japan in 1945. That set a very, very clear message to the rest of the world. Do not mess with this place. Okay? Do not mess with this. But what's happened since then is a lot of decadence and corruption has taken a hold. And as you know, it's at the very, very closing chapters of the Pluto cycle for this amazing place here. So what we are seeing live in real time is the implosion of this place, as everyone and everything else is starting to circle around this place, especially if you have very strong interests in the same way that they do, of having like a totalitarian types of regimes. The biggest obstacle to their benefit is these people here, and especially our Constitution. So there's a lot of problems going on across the whole of planet Earth, and some very smart people decided to use their intelligence in very disgusting, sick, and perverse ways to try and exploit the situation for their personal benefit. And in many ways, it's actually working. The whole of planet Earth is now kind of in shock and trauma, and consistently being re-traumatized by the perpetrators of this extremely ugly agenda. I'm not really allowed to talk about it much on the channel because there's no point. But anyway, this is happening right now. It's also happening geologically. And we've noticed huge geological shifts in the last 4 years or so. And that correlates very strongly with the movement of Uranus in Taurus. Taurus representing the earthiness of Earth, okay? The actual physicality of Earth here. So when Uranus in Taurus comes along, it's basically massive convulsions, unpredictable shakeups, catastrophic, disorienting, disturbing things that are happening on planet Earth, like the volcanoes over here, you know? The big volcano that Ivona's talking about. It's right over here, okay? But you have to remember, these things like volcanoes, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, fires, and everything, that's just nature doing its stuff. Some of them, I think, are enhanced, like a lot of fires over here. I think there's a lot of arson that went on over here as part of the process of trying to destroy the United States and the morale of the United States. They're doing it through agriculture and through aquaculture and through the culture of the people itself. And they're doing a good job. This place here, the place where I live over here, and some of you live, this place is very, very, very sick right now. It's like a cancer patient that doesn't know it has terminal cancer, and it's wandering around in kind of a stupor, completely oblivious to how bad things really are. It's very sad. To me, I find it very sad to observe this and watch it, knowing that there's nothing I can do. All we can do here is figure out how are we going to live around the toxic agenda that is being spread across this beautiful planet. Well, I have some ways, I've got some ideas. I don't really want to talk about them on the channel, or at least not live like this. Maybe we can hold a proper meeting. That would be fun. But yeah, like one thing I noticed today in particular, just today for itself, again, these pieces of sacred geometry are always changing. We have this big, fat, green, grand trine. This is a piece of sacred geometry that indicates very, very supportive, harmonious energies. So if somehow are you feeling inside that there's a a moment of respite, a period where things aren't quite so bad as they have been, and you might start feeling like, oh my God, I'm starting to sense that there might be hope in that all the fraud and the lies and the crime and the corruption are starting to be exposed to the point where even the mass media can't cover it up. They're doing extremely good jobs to create propaganda and alternative stories and activities as scare tactics and fear tactics to make sure that especially the American population is not aware about how it is being systematically destroyed from without and from within. There are plenty of people inside the United States who have already committed to the destruction of the United States through bribery and corruption and perversion and just for the pure motivations of power, lust, greed, control, and money. That's it. And it's being presented to us as though it's all very wholesome. Well, that's what's so disgusting about what's happening is the thing that's being presented to us is like, we're here to save you. We're going to save you from this horrible bug, when they are actually the perpetrators. It's a massive evil agenda. Anyway, so the way I look at it here, see the North Node is wrapping up its journey in Gemini, and it's going to move into Taurus soon. And that's going to take the whole of planet Earth, the whole of humanity, into a completely different energy vibration field where the shift will move away from commerce and communications towards money and natural resources on this earth. And what are we going to do with it? What will happen is the Gemini, the Taurus North Node is going to be an indication that we as humanity are now responsible for massive degradation of nature on this beautiful place that is our home. And so the North Node in Taurus is going to be an awakening about how are we going to take responsibility and do the right thing for planet Earth for the sake of humanity instead of for the sake of a few mega corporations and individuals. So that battle is going to unfold, okay? But that we're looking at another 2 years for that one. But right now, we just have this fleeting moment. This is a grand air trine, okay? Sun and Mars in Libra, Saturn in Aquarius, Moon in North Node in Gemini. To me, this indicates that just for this moment right now, we are seeing that humanity isn't completely doomed. We're not completely doomed as yet. There are lots of people all over planet Earth now who are openly resisting the nasty, evil agenda of the nasty people, okay, who have spread a bug, okay. Over here in Australia, parts of New Zealand, parts of the British Isles, France, Germany, Europe, Italy, Spain. Over here, they are having violent resistance to the evil agenda. Okay, Mars in Libra. That's war in relationships. Okay, the open enemy. Okay, so as far as the what should I call them? The CABAL. As far as they're concerned, we the people are the enemy. Okay, we are the ones obstructing them from spreading their evil. Now, on the other hand, we the people are the ones who believe that the elites are the enemy, and they need to be held accountable. There's very, very little disruption happening in the United States because I think the United States has been literally drugged into a stupor that they are not ready, willing, or able to resist in the way that they're resisting over here and over here. So what's happening in America is we have a massive history of apathy, where we have become so comfortable and so decadent in our success as an enterprise, as an experiment in humanity. We have become so successful that we take it all for granted, and now we're just gorging on it. And the way I see it is that there's a lot of Americans who are just wandering around completely oblivious to how much evil is actually out there, and they are just going along with the agenda because they're being told to through the mass media and the propaganda. That's not the whole of America, but there's a lot of America is like that. And at the moment, to me, that's very, very disturbing. The fact that America has become so compliant to the agenda to the point where I don't know what's going to happen. I think it will be a classic Pluto demolition. There will be the death of America as we know it and the birth of a new America. And it will happen simultaneously. We're actually going through that process right now. It's like a convergence. The death of America could be happening in this direction, for example, and the birth happening in this direction. They're happening simultaneously. There will not be a single cutoff point except for a couple of calendar moments which we could describe. One of them, for example, is going to be around March 2022. And what happens in March 2022 is that Pluto in Capricorn is going to align exactly with Pluto in Capricorn for the United States of America on its birth chart. And I'm already marking that date in my calendar because it's going to be life-changing. Okay? We might not see it like as explosive news events, but by the time we get to March 2022, that's another 6 months of living through this very disturbing piece of human history. I don't want to be all doom and gloom. Okay? This is a beautiful moment in time where we can actually pat ourselves on the back and look at each other and say, you know, we're not dead yet. We're still doing something. There are certain numbers of people here, at least a few people, who are demanding truth, honesty, justice, clarity in communications, knowledge, wisdom, and information that is disseminated to we the people. We are demanding it and we are getting it. The problem is that I would say the evil agenda is trying to suppress this energy here. They do not want we the people to become aware or to have any power. But we do. The question is, what are we going to do with it? How are we going to activate that? So over here, we've got this harsh angle between Mercury and Capricorn. To me, that's basically like bad news, miscommunications with humanity to humanity. It sort of reminds me of the Pisces-Gemini axis here. The other aspect we have over here is a very big opposition between Venus and Uranus. Venus is in Scorpio, Uranus is in Taurus. I feel that this is very, very much to do with money and global finances, where Venus in Scorpio wants everything to be really harmonious and comfortable for we the people on planet Earth to have a decentralized financial system that's harmonious for everybody. But that clashes with the status quo of an existing financial system based around this axis here. a very, very powerful, solid, stable axis of Pluto and Capricorn and Uranus and Taurus. But it is shaking up, and it will be shaken up. And eventually, we are all going to see, especially over the next, I would say 20 years, we're going to see radical changes in the global financial system. It's going to be the death of the old and the birth of the new. And we are all going to be affected. Anyway, thank you for listening to my little rant. I'm going to put this aside. I just saw some notes on the screen. Let's have a look. Robin. Hello, Robin. Nice to see you. Hello, Mr. Ross. Nice to see you. Driving, send donation if you have time. Okay. Okay, and I just saw a guy post about a landslide, but it was nothing serious. Well, it looks like that volcano has done its business before. It's doing it again. And like some volcanoes keep spewing for weeks or months before they calm down again. Hello, Maria, over there, Arkansas. Ivona over in New Jersey. Okay. And Karen. Hello, Karen. Karen, we're meeting up later in this week. Okay, so no worries. We got that sorted out. Anyway, this is the Astrodoodle just for today. We'll probably use it in the readings. I can't imagine me doing too many readings. Hold on, let me say hello to everybody. Greetings, fair ones. This is Tarot Lumination on yet another Sunday night. Thank you for dropping in. Thank you for visiting. What's happening for me here personally is that when I look at the Astrodoodle and I reference my own astrology profile, I'm getting slammed on multiple aspects. So what's happening, the way I feel it in my body is like I'm sort of like you know, like somebody who's taken a few too many hits in a boxing fight or something like that, or too many stressful incidents in life. It all accumulates to the point where you start to stutter because everything is just so jumbled and shaken around, okay? And it's cumulative, okay? So I've reached a point today where I just kind of went and I decided to allow myself to kind of implode. The reason I did that is because I felt like it's okay. It's like I have permission from the planets. I have permission from that big, fat, green air trine in terms of communications. I feel like it's better for me to just be honest and straightforward with everybody, let you guys know that I am way below my normal capacity to be able to do this. So I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 readings at the very most if anybody wants one. It sounds like Mr. Ross wouldn't mind one. And I can probably handle 1 more, but that's it. So I'm really just hanging out because I love hanging out with you guys. And if I don't do this, I get kind of lonely during the week. So also I'd like to say that I have made friends across the world because of doing this. And I really value these relationships. It's different for everybody, you know, but this is what works for me. I really like this. So let's have a look. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to give you that heads up. Please don't expect a lot of fireworks tonight. Not that we have fireworks, but you know. Anyway, cheers. Thank you all for your support over the years. Greetings, all son. I just saw your name fly up on the screen. I have not had time to reply to emails and stuff in my personal life and with the channel and stuff, so I'm sorry. I know I got some emails, all son, and we'll deal with that. I'll take a look. We'll deal with all of that. I'm really feeling like I'm at this kind of bizarre crossroad at the moment. Well, not a crossroad, but a pause. I was just talking to Love Triber earlier, about the way it feels to me with all these retrogrades. You know, we've been dealing with the 5 retrogrades now for months, okay? 5 huge retrogrades for months. And what has happened is, in my world, in my interpretation, in my observation, is that humanity has had to do a lot of deep diving in itself. The way I look at it is like this. It's sort of like, blah, 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 blah. I'm a newscaster. Blah, ugh, ugh. Oh, my God. I'm sorry. Give me a second. I've just found a little scorpion. Hold on. Where did he go? Oh, my gosh. Stay there, people. Don't go away. I have to capture this little scorpion. He's actually beautiful. He's about this big. And he must have been hiding in my book. Who knew? Don't go away. I'll play some music or something. Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh boy. Ba-da-ba-da. Do-do-do. Do-ba-do. Wow, hold on. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Well, sorry, it's not a joke. It's not a joke, Robin. That was a real life scorpion. He was about this big. It's actually a baby. And they can have a very nasty thing. And, well, we live in a desert here, so, you know, they live here too. Maybe they just, this little fellow just found his way in here and was just comfortable hiding out on my book. And now I can't remember what I was going to say. Damn it. Oh yeah, I remember. Thank you. Sorry, folks. Hold on. Okay, what I was trying to do. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm a little bit rattled. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just a little rattled because it was unexpected. That's all. I actually think they're beautiful creatures. They really do look exactly like you would see like on a, hieroglyph for, or an icon for Scorpios, for example. So, what I was trying to get at with, before I met the little scorpion, is that over these last few months, we've had 5 major retrogrades happening simultaneously. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. That's like a massive wall of retrogrades way far out there into our solar system. So what that tends to do is, at a very subconscious level, it makes us have to kind of take stock of who we are and what we are doing right down to the depths of our soul. And that can sometimes require a lot of self-examination, and that can be sometimes very uncomfortable for people. For example, let me go over to my little doodle chart here. Let me go over here. Alright, so we talked about this a while ago. Here's the sun, but we regard the earth, when we do a geocentric astrology, would do it as though the earth is in the center and everything's orbiting around the earth. So it still looks like it's orbiting, but we get the retrograde effect. So here we are, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. They've all been appearing to go backwards in the solar system. And now, slowly, they're coming to a standstill, and they're going to start moving towards their natural direction again. So at the moment, we have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And now, as of today and tomorrow, we're going to have Mercury as well. So that is 6 planets retrograde simultaneously. That's actually pretty rare. It's almost overwhelming because, like, what I was trying to describe is that these retrograde episodes are tremendous opportunities for us to repair, rewind, reconfigure, re-examine, restructure, rearrange, refine, rejoice with whatever energy field it represents for you personally. And you make that your priority. Some people feel it as like chaos and resistance, and they try to fight it, and that just makes their life worse. So, one of the natural ways that people respond to the retrogrades is that it can feel like a certain aspect of your life is slowing down, or it's being repressed or suppressed, or being forced to, take a moment, have a look at the dashboard of your life and figuring out what are all these red lights that are going on everywhere. So that's a good way to look at it, actually. If you imagine your life is like you're driving a car, and whenever a planet goes retrograde, it sends up a red alert, okay? So we now have 5 red alerts that have been going on for months, and now we have 6. So all of those are telling us to take stock of our lives, treat every adversity as an opportunity for us to learn more about ourselves and to identify the parts in our lives that are not working. Because again, it's like when I do with the tarot, I like using my little situational spread because it's like a diagnostic tool. Just like when you go into an auto technician and like, something's wrong with my car. I don't know what it is, making a weird sound over here, and it kind of goes, And then the technician goes, aha, we need a diagnosis. That's really all I do with the tarot. And once you identify it, you can fix it. You can't fix it if you can't identify what the problem is. You've got to reveal it to heal it. That's the essence of this channel. So, time for an oil change. Yeah, Sarah, right. Okay, sure. So, some of the common things that happen during retrogrades, depending on which planet and where it hits you in your life, in your chart, in your world. For example, over here, where did I put the chart before I had to deal with that little scorpion? So over here, because we're dealing with 6 retrogrades right now, this is a lot, okay? Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Uranus, and now Mercury. Okay, if you think of all these little R's here, retrograde, think of this like as a dashboard on your fancy car. Just like people pull up a GPS or like a street maps thing on their car, you could pull this up in your life, and all these little red R's mean retrograde in my astrodoodle. So here, 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 and here. That's 6. So what that's telling us is that humanity in general, this is for the whole of humanity, we have a lot of homework to do on ourselves. We may think we are so awesome because we can send people to the moon, and we've got space stations, and we've got all sorts of drugs and chemicals that make us happy and fix diseases, and we can send signals all across the earth. We can do Lumination live streams across planet Earth, and all of that's amazing. But there's some very, very, very deep, dark, sinister stuff going on over here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and now here. And all of that stuff has been exposed, okay, as much as it can be during the time of this cycle. Like Pluto's been retrograde about 5 months. So anyway, what happens is, the way I look at it is like, yeah, sure, it can be frustrating because most people, if you've ever lived through one of those, if you've ever lived through one of those chapters in life where there's no retrogrades at all, again, those are quite rare, but they do happen every few years. You'll get a little episode, maybe 2 or 3 months, where all the planets are direct. And you can sense it in your life. You can see it in global politics, global finance, the global news systems. Everything seems to be like on a green lights. Flow, flow, flow. Go, go, go. Everything's great. Everything's wonderful. Until it isn't. So these retrogrades are just natural phenomenon, and it's a tremendous time for us to re-examine. So the way I see it, because we're dealing with Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, we're going way deep down into the depths of the soul. What I see from here is that humanity is realizing its immense power and its immense corruption and perversion and betrayal of power. about how the way one sector of humanity treats another sector of humanity. I like animals, I like food, I like to be happy, I like my music, I like doing art, I like to write, I like to have these kind of communications, and I love my freedom. I love my freedom of expression. I love the fact that I can still go anywhere, almost anywhere I want. I can drive, I can fly, I can take buses or trains, and I can find a way to conduct my life in harmony. And I almost always find something benevolent every single day. But the way I see things right now, what I'm noticing is something that's very, 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 okay? And really all it is the absence of LOVE. It happens by choice. You can choose to be loving, okay? Be loving and be loved. Don't bother to be loving. Don't expect to be loved. There's different ways that people measure love, okay? Some people love power, money, and control, and they are driven and compelled to go that way. They can't get enough of it. They're like fentanyl junkies. The more they get, the more they want, the more they need in order to satisfy and fill the empty, hollow core that is here. What I've noticed is that people who are very loving, people who have a lot of love in their life, people who have a lot of love that they radiate, the last thing on their mind is things like power, control, money, lust, have, get, do, all of that stuff. It's sort of like it doesn't register. It just sounds like nonsense to them. And those people are very lucky. A lot of the times, I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of people who are very loving, they can be very discreet or almost invisible because everything of value for them happens internally, okay? They might be very old or very sick or perhaps young and disenfranchised, or they could have any kind of external profile that would be completely nondescript to other people. But they can have a flood of love in their life that we can't possibly imagine. All the people who are at the very, very top of the global pecking order, it's full of these very, very big famous names, which are usually names of extremely wealthy people and billionaires and multimillionaires, corporate leaders, banking leaders, leaders of countries, and so on and so on. They're in those positions partly by circumstance, but also by choice. That's what they wanted. They need power. They want power. They control money because it makes them feel fulfilled. But in the end, those aspects are kind of hollow. Because what do you do when you have so much power? What are you going to do with that? Well, what I see is happening is what they're doing with it is that they are abusing their power. Okay? Instead of, let's say, instead of benevolence towards humanity, it is malevolence towards humanity. That's what I'm observing. They can't help themselves. There's really nothing you can do in terms of like prayers or wishes or anything. These people are who they are, the way they are, why they are, on their own account. And they deal with the consequences. In this lifetime, for example, there's a guy at the really top. His name's Tony, and his last name begins with F. And he tries to present himself as this very credible, caring person. Whereas, in fact, he is part of an agenda that has a #1 goal to destroy as much of humanity as they can for their particular benefit, which is to do with power, control, and money. So how do they do that? They do that through lies. Fake, fake, fake. Propaganda. They tell you this, this, and this. They do that, that, and that. It's like, vote for me and I will save you. Seriously, vote for me and I will save you. The thing is, there's nothing to be saved from. So what do? I go and create something from which you need to be saved. Something really big and dark and evil. And then, poof, I come in to save you. That's how it all works. It's like the Wizard of Oz, you know? Anyway. Karen Clark, you've never seen a scorpion before. Okay. Well, I wish I'd kept it, or I wish I could have. It looks just like they look in pictures. If you just Google a scorpion online, if you check it out, search it, look for images of scorpions, that's what they look like. It looks exactly like the images. Okay, over here. Give me a second. I know there's lots of channels that are much flashier than my channel, and astrologers that have really powerful softwares and all of that, and that's great. But a lot of the time I don't really use them or need them. I tend to work from what I perceive as energy fields, and it's very obvious to me when I look at the ephemeris. So here we are, this is September, we're reaching the end of September. Mercury is right here at the point of station. So one of the things I wanted to mention about this, which I didn't quite get to on my last rant, is, okay, so the whole of planet Earth has been living with 5 retrograde planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, for months, okay? And a lot of people are sick of it. People are just grinding through their life, trying to get by. Some people doing better than others. But what it can often feel like is that you feel impeded or pressured or resistance to just like, why can't I just go for it? Why can't I just be spontaneously awesome all day, every day? And everything I do just spontaneously happens to be right. Well, that's how we mature. We mature and evolve by living through situations and circumstances that create challenge and pressure. And how we deal with them is an indication of our ability to love and be loved, our ability to show compassion or caring, our ability to step back and respond authentically and truthfully, rather than just be a victim and just live on autopilot. So what happens now that we've got Mercury coming in? The way I feel it is this. I've lived for many years in Los Angeles, so you can imagine huge interstates and freeways, 3, 5, 7 lanes wide on each side. Sometimes the traffic is so dense that even with 7 lanes, 5 lanes on each side, everything is still in gridlock. That happens. And sometimes you get to these points where, the way I look at it now is how I felt today. When Mercury reached that moment of stationary retrograde, it's going to feel like it's going to start going backwards. I might as well just switch off the engine, get out of the car, knock on a few windows, say hello to some of my neighbors on the highway, and why don't you just switch off your car too? We're going to be here for a while. What do we need to figure out while we're here? That's how it feels to me. It's very frustrating, but I'm not going to let it stop me living my life. I'm going to navigate through. Okay? So I just wanted to mention that. All right. Let me have a look over here. What was that one from? Hold on, I'm just checking something through the chat here. It's only a few people. Hello. Hello, there's 11 people here. I don't know who you all are. I know some of you. Let me just let me go back over here. I'm just clicking around through some of the software. Give me a second. So You can almost think of this like lanes of traffic. All these 5 lanes here have been blocked and full of orange cones for months now. And we got more orange cones going up here. Beware, beware, beware. We need to work on this part. But as you look here in October, the orange cones are being taken away. Taken away. Taken away. And eventually, by the end of the month, taken away. So by the end of October, we're just going to be dealing with Uranus and Neptune retrograde. I believe that's going to be very much to do with global finances and the continuing story of filthy corruption in terms of global communications. All the lies and the propaganda about the big bad bug. Anyway, we're not there yet. I'm just anticipating. I like to have a look forward just to see what's going on so that I don't get trapped by conditions. I hate to be trapped. I like my freedom. Alright, see, where was I? Okay, over there. I saw something from Gregory. How was it, Gregory? I sent donation if I have time. Okay, yeah, I think we can do that. Just got to check up on something. Give me a second. Stay right there. And okay, perfect. So I'm going to go back over here. Let's give a reading for Mr. Ross. I can go totally blind if you want. We've worked together plenty of times. And we can do this over here. I know you've all seen these decks many times over. And I know there's other channels they use like 1,000 different decks, and it's very enticing. I have a whole bunch of different decks, and I have access to a complete compendium of decks. However, I'm kind of one of these. I have a lot of fixed aspects. You know what they call in astrology fixed aspects? Fixed aspects. The fixed signs. You know, there's the mutable signs. Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini. There's the fixed, which is like Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus. And then there's the mutable. It's Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, Aries. Always trying to juggle, figure things out, get things in balance. It's like being a surfer. Whoa, whoa, okay. So with the fixed signs, they tend to have a certain viewpoint, a certain attitude, a perspective to life in the world, like this is how it is. I'm sorry, this is how it is. And it takes quite a lot of pressure for people with heavy dominance and fixed signs to allow for the flexibility of the mutables or the cardinals. Excuse me, it was the cardinal ones. I said it twice. I got it all wrong. Sorry, folks. The fixed signs are like Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus. Okay, mutables like Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, and Virgo, and the cardinal signs. That's Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, and Libra. They tend to have a sense of dynamics that goes with them. Anyway, I'm kind of in the fixed world, and so I have to deliberately allow myself to be influenced by things that I would really not prefer to be influenced by. But I do it anyway, because I want to evolve and grow and be happy. I like to love and be loved. I want to keep it simple. And I've discovered the best route to happiness in my life is to go with the flow and don't take it personally. Sometimes there's a tremendous amount of pain, but treat it as a blessing. We can learn so much through pain. Of course, you don't want to have it as perpetual, but it is a way. We learn by our mistakes, let's put it that way. Okay. All right, so let's have a look here, Mr. Ross. So what I do with this deck, I've only been using 2 decks probably for the last year. It's simply because it works. I like what works. I love other decks. I love playing with all that stuff, but it's a question of time and money and energy equation. When I just want to take care of business, I just want to get on and do what has to be done, I keep things very, very simple, and I stick with what works. There you go. Actually, I should put a magic post-it up for Mr. Ross. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Look at the responses we're getting on the screen. It is interesting if you look at some, because I've done thousands of readings over the years, and you can start to see patterns. Sacred geometry. For example, let's look today. Okay, let's pretend I was born today. Then this is basically what my birth chart would look like. If I was born as an Aries, well, it's not. Today, right now, we're in the sign of Libra. Let's say I was born as a Libra today, right? An early degree Libra. And it is the 26th of September 21, and I'm a newborn baby. This is what my chart would look like if I was an early Libra. This is exactly what my birth chart would look like. Hello, Jeffrey, I see you. So I would be born with a very natural, delicious, comfortable, grand air trine. These are the air signs. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Okay? So that's a very harmonious thing to have built into me. On the other hand, I'm also born with this hard aspect here. So I would guess that through later in life, much later in life in adulthood, I would be dealing with money. Money would be a very, very important aspect of my life. Maybe for one reason or another, in business or finance, banking, investing, or whatever. And it would be money in terms of working with other people and their money, okay? And how I could transform them to something better, and how they could transform me to something better. So it's mutual transformation by mutual reception over here. Well, it's not reception, but anyway, by mutual agreement over here. Also at the same time, I would have to realize that my communication abilities here, Mercury retrograde, are happening at the same time as Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. That's a very tough angle. So despite all this harmonious energy here in air, which is very closely related with communications, I might actually find myself, especially early in life, really, really struggling about how to communicate effectively in everything in life. How I feel, what I want, what I need. How do I communicate my authentic self to other people? That could be very, very hard for me. Also, I would be born with this axis over here. I would be born with the natural wound of Chiron and Aries that many people have. And I would be faced off by Mars and Libra. So I might go through life where I'm constantly encountering friction in relationships which make me feel as though I am inferior or less than, and that certain people are trying to be hostile towards me. On the other hand, it could be very exciting, and I could learn and grow a lot from this axis, and so on and so on. So I just wanted to give you that as an example. Okay? So we're all born with the planets doing something somewhere. For example, this person here, who, if this was somebody who was born today, they would be born with a very powerful grand air trine. You know? It's very good with communications, knowledge, information, relationships. functionality here on Earth, like being good with other people, so on and so on. Okay, so in other words, like going back to the thing, these are the cardinal signs. So also, as a newborn baby, we would be born with a Libra hard squared to a Capricorn axis. Those are the cardinal signs. So it might translate into the growing child that turns into a young adult and then eventually an adult. It might take quite a long time for this person to mature to the point where they are no longer suffering from miscommunications from the depths of their soul, and instead they grow past this very harsh axis here, and they become expert communicators down to the depths of their soul in how they relate with other people. But that will take a very long time. That would happen much later in life, and so on and so on. Anyway, there you go. Just wanted to share that. Good evening, Mr. Ross. All right. This is my fermented grape juice, as you know. Oh, yes, Maria. I needed to hear that. So, and also Aquarius, you said, Karen, fixed Aquarius, me too. So, it's the beauty about astrology is that it's completely neutral, and it's all based on empirical evidence after thousands of years of homework. It isn't like somebody just made it up like as a fairy tale. A lot of what happens in modern Western astrology is based on huge amounts of time and energy and experience spent in trying to understand ourselves as human beings. And the people, the wise ones over thousands of years, they made notes, and they started to notice highly predictable patterns. Highly predictable patterns. Like when the sun traverses a part of the sky at night that they attribute to the Libra sector, like constellation, humans seem to have a certain type of character or personality, and so on with the Scorpios and Sagittarians and so on. That's where most people start with their interest in astrology, is that they look at their sun sign to try and understand themselves. And then once they realize, oh my God, there's something to this, they keep digging and digging and digging and digging. And you get to the point where you can't stop because it goes on forever. The more you learn, the more you need to learn. The more you know, the more you want to know. What's that? Karen fixed Aquarius energy over here. So for example, Karen right now, she might be feeling a lot of challenges as an Aquarius, because Saturn is in Aquarius right now. Saturn, the planet of testing, of pressure, of limitations. It can feel depressing, it can feel challenging, like, do I deserve this? Jupiter's there too. That's the planet of healing and benevolence and good fortune. So it's like two things are happening simultaneously. There you go. Robin has Venus in Scorpio. Look at that. So this little axis here is highly relevant for Robin. All right, let's have a look. Cheers, Mr. Russ. Please drive safely. Now, cards were already shuffled before they went into the box, and I'm shuffling them again as they come out of the box. Let's see what we've got going on here. Let's bless this deck, this beautiful deck, the artwork. every single card, the way they're made, the way they were shipped here, and all of that. The artist who made them, all of that. Bless our post-it notes. Bless the lighting, the cameras, and all the softwares and softwares and softwares. Thank you for the platforms that allow us to do all of this. The electricity, the wires, the connectors, the microphones, the loudspeakers, the lighting, the internet, all of it. It's absolutely mind-boggling. All right, here we go. Blind is fine. Thank you, Mr. Russ. Okay, what messages do we have tonight for Mr. Ross? Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Now let's have a look at circumstantial energy, like the planets, the influences, and so on. Hanged Man. Okay, well, to me this jumps out at me as it's highly relevant to the Mercury retrograde that's happening right now, where you might feel that in your life, if you gaze around your life, in your world, all the activities, all the events, all the communications, all the people, everything that is scheduled, everything that you expect to happen, everything that you would like to happen is kind of at a, we have to take a pause at the moment, because the way things have been moving up to this point have had a certain feel in a certain direction, which leads us, all of us, not just you, Mr. Ross, but all of us, to kind of assume things about what we call the future. But with the Hanged Man here, my feeling is that it's almost like there's a really deep, very powerful, subtle message that is saying, dear Mr. Ross, you've had your plate full. You have been up to your neck in challenges, courtrooms, health issues, financial issues, location issues. You've been on the front lines of the battlefield of life for months now. You could attribute that to all those retrogrades. And you might want to, tell yourself, let's just get out, let's just move on, I just want to get out of this. But now Mercury is here, and there's no point in trying to fight it. Like I was trying to describe earlier, let me do the same thing again. Imagine you've been dealing with slow traffic for months. 5 lanes on the highway, orange cones everywhere, and you're just sort of crawling through life. So many issues coming up, you just have to deal with it. You don't have a choice. You're locked in. You're locked in the journey of life. And then Mercury retrograde comes along, and it's at the point of stationary retrograde. That's one of those moments where traffic slows down so much that it just stops. So you can sit there and think, okay, we got to get on with things. On the other hand, you can just look at the reality. It's like, oh my God, everything's just, it's a log jam. It's a complete log jam. Switch the engine off. Have a smoke. Roll the window down. Look at nature. Look at the other cars. Sing songs to yourself. Ask for divine guidance. Ask for the healing power of love to come into your life from up above, because there's nothing else you can do. Some people get out of their car and they walk around and they say, hello, are you feeling as stuck as I am? Yeah. And so on and so on. Of course, in Los Angeles, it's a bit dangerous to do that kind of stuff, because you don't know what's going to go on in the next car. But anyway, I was just trying to craft a little story to try and illustrate the feelings of the moment and how they might affect you personally. So what I feel here with the Hangman is to be prepared to look at your circumstances without being surprised or annoyed or angry or frustrated at having to be in a state of suspended animation. What do you do when you're in a state of suspended animation? Well, you just float. Now, of course, a lot of people don't like to do that because it makes them feel as that they don't have any control over life. I want to do this, I got to do that, I got to be here, I got to be there. This would be a great ideal scenario for a stoner where they could go like, well, what's the problem, man? Just chill, you know? So that's kind of what's going on here. There's no point in trying to push forward with all your personal agendas, okay? About this, and that's work, career, finance, location, houses, money, whatever it is. Just instead realize, wow, we're at this particular calendar moment where the best thing to do is probably just hang out. Just like we're doing right now. You know, turn on your radio in the car. Listen to some stuff you haven't listened to for a while. Let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Okay, so we've got the Ten of Cups here. The way I see it, I don't want to say it's like a question of critical mass, but I think it's a question of real focus here. The Ten of Cups, to me, it's a message that what really, really, really counts right now is to be happy. To be really, really happy, to understand contentment, and to understand that in some ways you have that already. You know, if you want to compare your life with other people, you're always going to be worse off than some. Seriously worse off than some. On the other hand, you have certain things going on in your life which would be considered a blessing compared to others. So when I see the Ten of Cups here for you, to me it feels like it's really, 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 really important to count your blessings. Understand that, one, you're lucky to be alive. Number two, you've got transportation. Number three, you've got shelter. Number four, you've got friends, family, community. You've got us, people to talk to. All those kinds of things. And not only that, you have it, you've earned it, you work for it, you deserve it, and it is yours. You own this. Some people are not aware of how fortunate they are. All I'm suggesting here is that with this pause, it's a good moment to take stock, to take your foot off the gas pedal of life, you know. If you think of your life as like a journey, you know, you're driving the vehicle of your life, which is your body, and you're constantly going through this and that. This is a moment where you basically say, you know what? Take the pedal off the gas. Take the foot off the gas pedal. In fact, pull over, switch off. Just think of it as a road trip. That's the best analogy I can think. Think of your life as a road trip, and you're just at one of those moments where the best thing you can do is literally just pull over to the side of the road, switch off, get out of the car, stretch your back, move around and look around, and, you know, at first glance, go over everything and anything that feels miserable to you, but then make it your business to remind yourself about all the good fortune and the good things that you have in your life that resonate. All the love that you have given. Just remember, a while ago we worked on a reading where you prevailed and you became quite famous in your community, and you obviously brought goodness to some people who really deserved it. And you had to face up against a monster. And you did it. You are loving and you are loved. It might be an unconventional way to feel that you are loving and feel that you are loved, but this is what it is. You do have love and abundance. You might not be getting lots of postcards and letters and emails from all the people that you've helped saying, "Oh, thank you, Gregory. Thank you, thank you, thank you." But it is there nonetheless. Okay? Attitude of gratitude would go very well with this too. Cheers. So let's have a look. What are the challenges right now? Okay, with the Ten of Pentacles, it might not seem fair because this is very much to do with money and abundance. Look at this. Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. To me, it feels like this. Dear Gregory, you know deep, deep in your heart that you are a very loving person. You are almost like hyper compassionate, and it's at the point where you defend people that other defenders would ignore because there's no money in it. But you go ahead. It's like the unsung hero. It's like a Clint Eastwood movie. You go forward anyway. You are loving. You are loved. And you have brought a lot of love into other people's lives indirectly, whether you know it or not. With the Ten of Pentacles, my feeling is that it would be so nice if all that love translated into all that money. Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be the most amazing thing? Like, wow, it's so cool. Like, the more loving that I am, the more money I have. Sadly, it doesn't work that way. Money is symbolic, and it is what it is. So, in a way, it's almost like you're trying to compare money with love and love with money. Both of them are very important themes in our lives as human beings. We all want to love and be loved. We would all love to have abundance and benevolence in our extended families, all the way to the point of a legacy. In other words, not only be rich, but be rich to the point where you can leave a legacy to loved ones and so on. But my feeling here is that with the Ten of Pentacles, deep down there's a part of you which is feeling very sore, raw, and kind of painful, in that the Ten of Pentacles does not directly equate to the Ten of Cups. Like there's some kind of disparity here, and that's the problem. Because, we've worked together enough times for you to know that, I'm saying it here live in public that you are a very loving person, very caring, very compassionate. You've done a lot of work to support and help and take care of the underdogs in your life, your world, and the community. And you always take account of the other person's position before you make your decisions and take your actions. And yet, we have this problem here. Why is it that the amount of love that is extended in compassion does not equate to the abundance in terms of actual cold hard cash in your life in the bank account? In a way, this is kind of a universal message, especially because there's a lot of people on earth who are very loving and very compassionate, and yet they really don't have a lot of the pentacles going on, like the money stuff. On the other hand, there are certain people and groups and entities that where this energy is completely absent, there is no love. In fact, there isn't just no love, there's a vacuum, there's a negative love. And yet, they seem to carry vast abundance and wealth. It's not fair, okay? We know that. And so you're dealing with the feeling of what it's like, that these things are out of balance. It's just not fair. How are we going to deal with this? Okay, well, I got some relief here with the Queen of Cups. My feeling with the Queen of Cups is, number one, with the Mercury retrograde, Mercury in Libra, so it's going to go back. Okay, look over here. Mercury's in Libra. It's been moving this direction for months. Now it's stationary retrograde, so it's going to start to look like it's going to go backwards. So over the next 3 weeks, this is a really ideal time to examine your business relationships and understand them at the level of finances. Like, how and why do certain business relationships translate into financial abundance, and certain business relationships turn into almost like an act of charity, where you have given so much love and so much care and your heart and soul in order to extend your love to your local community and the families, and yet, where's the compensation? Where's the reward? With the Queen of Cups, my feeling it's time to examine your own levels of expectation. In other words, if people, I mean, this is really, really hard to deal with. Okay, all I'm saying is that it would be perfectly normal for anyone to feel resentment with this energy here. Like, why doesn't it work that way? Why doesn't it work that I've been so caring and I've helped others, and yet I have to deal with financial issues as though I'm the one who's struggling here? It's not fair. And so the Queen of Cups, my feeling is that what she's asking is that the solution is to take an even closer look at your finances and your beliefs about money and finances. Okay, like, where does money come from? What do I do with the money? How am I compensated? Am I doing fair business practices? Am I compensating myself? Am I undercharging for certain services? Also, on the understanding with the Queen of Cups is like, does there have to be, to me there's a lot of questions that go with this. Does there have to be like an absolute ledger balance of 1-to-1 between the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles, just because we live in this physical lifetime, where it would be so nice that this equation would actually balance out the way it looks like it could or would or should here, but it's not. And so the Queen of Cups is asking questions like, well, what are your values? What are your belief systems? What is it that you truly value? And obviously, what you truly value is the love over the money. Okay? Not everybody's like that. I just talked about that earlier. For some people, this is all that counts. And sometimes the best way to get there is to remove this from the equation. Love is a huge obstacle sometimes when it comes to wealth, money, power, and control. And so, with the Queen of Cups, to me it feels like it's a time for pause, a time to reevaluate like your life, your life purpose, your life meaning. And look at the money axis here, the Scorpio-Taurus axis here about money. This is the Scorpio energy. Venus is in Scorpio right now. And that's the energy of other people's money. Venus is harmony. Harmony with other people's money. Uranus regards your money, your wealth, your talents, and your gifts. Uranus is retrograde. So this is a really good opportunity for you to examine yourself, your life, and your world in about what really, really counts for you. Like, okay, let's say you have shelter, transportation, electricity, running water, internet, computers, and all these good things. On a global scale, you're very, very wealthy. On a personal scale, you might think like, wow, I wish I could just pay off that mortgage. I wish I could just buy a car for cash. I wish I could get premium blah, blah, blah for this and that, and enjoy the wealth and abundance that I think that I really deserve for having lived a life of being so loving. And then you have to start to question yourself like, oh my God, now I'm starting to sound like someone who is questioning the energy of love. So, the way I see it, the solution is to just take the time out, accept the reality that with these retrogrades right now, you're better off just taking a time out. There's no point in forcing an agenda, no point in trying to force a certain financial outcome that you believe you deserve. There's no point in trying to reconfigure this. This is already good. Do not mess with this, okay? And instead, just have a mellow look at your life and your world. Understand and recalibrate, or not recalibrate, just calibrate your scale of how you measure wealth and abundance. For example, if you're living in a place where you're surrounded by people who are just dripping with cash and money, you might feel inadequate. If you're in a place where people are literally scraping around with their hands in the dirt, you could feel like a multimillionaire. But you have to find the middle ground. Where do you stand? And that's what this is here. This is a big question. It's about coming to terms with yourself and finding a point of equilibrium where you can basically resolve the situation where this is okay. I can live with this. I can handle this. I am loving and I am loved. I'm a very wealthy man. I'm a very lucky man. I'm a very happy man. I'm a very blessed man in my own way. Sometimes I don't feel like that every day, but on a global scale, out of 7.5 billion people, I'm not doing too bad. So that's where you have to kind of remind yourself to get back to equilibrium, get back to a harmony and balance where you can live with this, okay? For that to happen, it does require taking a pause, taking a time out, doing the evaluation, okay? You can do it. You're more than capable. I hope that helped you, Mr. Ross. I hope that helped you. Cheers. Okay, I'm going to go have a look at the chats. There's Jeffrey. How are things in Ohio, Jeffrey? You can tell us. Hi, Sarah. Oh, so it looks like here, for example, Sarah has a little bit of resonance with your reading, Gregory. Attitude of gratitude. There's another, okay, Sarah, Gregory, Jeffrey, Karen, Maria, Robin, Ivona, Allson. We're all human, right? We're all human, and we all have these great expectations. And every day, I don't know about you, but every day, there's at least several moments where I feel like, oh, man, what was that? Like, didn't live up to my expectations. And I learned something quite recently from my sister. My sister is an amazing woman. She's a veterinarian, a doctor. She was successful enough in her world to retire early and have a beautiful home and a beautiful yacht for sailing around all over the world. So that's what she did. She's got 2 kids who are kind of following in her footsteps. One is a sailor and one is a scientist, kind of doctor. It's amazing. And she told me, she said, listen, don't set up any expectations and you won't be disappointed. And I went, what? My whole life is based around expectations. I expect this, and this. I want that. I deserve this, and this. I want that. And what she did was she reminded me, like, well, you're setting yourself up for a lot of pain and failure. I thought about what she said many times over the years, but it's true. She's very, very good at living in the moment. I think I'm pretty good at it, but I'm not anywhere close to where my sister is. Hello, Ninja Yeka. So it's all about relativity. Okay, hold on. Where are you, Ninja Yeka? Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia? I'm just guessing. Alright, okay. I'm going to put all this stuff away. Thank you, Mr. Ross. If anybody wants me to, I'll keep the show going for a little bit, but we don't have any more readings, so really all I can do is kind of offer a platform where people can hang out and chat amongst yourselves and all of that. You see, ideally we would be doing all this through my own private Zoom, and you'd all be connected in real time. We could see each other, talk to each other, share all sorts of stuff. It's wonderful. I haven't done those meetings for quite a long time. In fact, really since the end of 2018, I got crushed, I got decimated, and so I kind of gave up. So the reason I'm here today is purely because I like to be here, because it doesn't really make much sense otherwise. Ninja, you're in the UK but born in the Netherlands. Wink, wink. Okay. Interesting. Wait a minute. You're in the UK. If you're in the UK, it must be like, what, 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Whoa. So it's already Monday morning for you. Good morning. What's on your agenda today, Ninja Yucca? I'm just clearing this up because I'm going to put the deck away in a minute. Stay right there. There we go, over here. All right. Greetings. Cheers. I almost didn't do the show tonight because I was feeling so impacted. I knew the moment that I took out my charts and I examined all the data and information and all the astrology, I would find an excuse. I would find an explanation. Because as you know, I blame everything on the planets. It sounds like it's really irresponsible, but it actually gives me a lot of freedom. Like when I look at the big fat air trine, I resonate with that. I just happen to have a couple of very strong air aspects in my astrology profile where this is perfect. How sweet can it be? So it's like, yeah, thank you, universe. Ninja Yucca, it's almost 3 a.m. in the United Kingdom. Wow. Today is going to be a day where I will thank people that I love and co-creating with the creation or the creator. Wow. That's pretty awesome. I'm really happy that you brought this to us. I made some note that I really needed to hear. I had the same feeling like you explained. I'm going to share something. I don't know if I can actually say it properly or clearly, but in the last, I would say, whatever it is, 8 or 10 days, it's been very weird for me here personally, and I didn't take it personally, but through friends and family and connections and so on. Katie died, Bean died, Leo died, Nigel died. These 4 characters all died within 36 hours of each other. And that really kind of shook me up. And that was a few days ago. And I just got news from my friends in England and some of my family that the funeral for one of them, there was another one who just died a few days ago, Nigel. We were like that when we were kids. And he died. So that was like 5 deaths, all in the period of like 5 days. And it kind of went, to me it felt like, whoa, what is this? It's just stuff, it's just life. But it made me look at my life and my world like, wow, I'm lucky to be alive at all. It's a freaking miracle. I always think of it like when I'm going to bed at night, I think like, wow, in a few minutes from now, I'm going to be completely unconscious. I'm going to go into another weird place where I feel like I'm in a dreamland. I feel like I can fly. I see people, I go to places. And it's all so real. Sometimes I have very vivid, real dreams. Sometimes like in the morning when you get those lucid dreams, you know you're dreaming. And then you start to wake up and you realize, oh, wait a minute. I'm actually just lying in my bed. But wait a minute. I was over in France. Wait a minute. It was the 1800s. That doesn't make any sense, but that's kind of what it's like. And so I would say the last 8 or 10 days have been a little bit strange for me because I've had to deal with those things. I've been to funerals before. I've lost my mother. I've lost my father. I've lost friends who died way too early. My dear friend Brian died. He was 39, and so on. And I started to think, like, am I one of those people now, or I'm at this point in life where I've been around long enough where I see all these funerals and I see all these marriages and I see these kids being born and new life happening? Yeah. I've been around. Yeah. Oh, what's this? All this? Hold on. I just need to read the notes on this chat. Hold on. Oh, hello, Ninja. I just want to see it. I'm really happy that you brought me. I made some note that I really need to hear. Okay, good. So we're helping. Okay. Well, it must be a difficult time for you. It's weird. Yeah. Even though time is just a concept. Yes, true. It's a construct. It's something that we have to have in order for us to survive. Time and timing. It's incredible. It's so precise. Just look at the astrology charts. Talk about time and timing. Talk about sacred geometry. Sudden unexpected chapters. Yeah. Sudden unexpected chapters. Ninja, you might want to look at your own astrology chart. Let me do this. If you're experiencing some very sudden, unexpected activities, you might want to look at your own astrology chart and see if you can find this place here. 14 degrees of Uranus in Taurus, okay? That might be where the issue lies. That's okay. I understand, Ninja. I see it. Convection construct. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Sarah, one of them. Okay, one of my friends. This happens to me. I'm not one of those on-call psychic mediums. Some of you know, who've been here many times, there is Necessary Truth. Necessary Truth is a psychic medium. She can do remote viewing, and she can interact with angels and spirits who've passed on, loved ones who've passed over to the other side. I do the same thing. I've had a lot of those experiences in my life, but they're not in what I would call a controlled manner where I would do it for an enterprise like I do with tarot illumination. Like with tarot illumination, I love to do the astrology and the tarot, but I don't sit here every week and kind of go, okay, we're going to connect with the grandmother of so-and-so or the dead child of so-and-so. We don't do that here. I don't really like doing it. I've done it, but I don't really like doing it, so I don't do it, okay? Hello, Electra Ray. Hello. So anyway, everything's different. Like when my dad died, this was years ago. When my dad died, he was very close to me for about 6 weeks because he was very kind of in between this life and the afterlife. And when he actually died, he was so close to me. It was like putting his hand on my shoulder, like, what is all the fuss? Frankly, I'm glad it's over. I did what I could. It was just like he was here in real life, but he was actually there in spirit. It's the same thing with my mother. With my mother, I had like probably 2 or 3 months of very close interaction in spirit, where I was with her and she was with me constantly, trying to deal with the transition from this life to the afterlife. But eventually people figure it out. We all do. Okay? Ninja Yika, Taurus 14 degrees is in your 9th house. Oh. Hold on, give me a second. Your midheaven is 20 degrees Taurus. Really? So Karen, Your midheaven, 20 degrees Taurus, we're not there yet. We're only at 14 degrees Taurus. So over the next few months, 6 months or so, you're going to start creeping closer and closer to that conjunction where Uranus is going to be sitting right on top of your midheaven at 20 degrees. That's going to happen soon. By soon, I mean 3, 6, 9 months. I don't have my computers here to figure it out, but that's pretty soon. So, when Uranus conjoins your midheaven, you can expect like radical surprises. By surprises, I mean literally surprises, things that you could not possibly predict. No matter how much astrology and tarot we do, you will not be able to predict the surprises. But there will be surprises, and it will be ultimately for your benefit. So the important thing for you, Karen, is to understand that you are in this wave, and it's happening right now. And the wave is starting to crest, and it's a big, big, slow wave, and it will crest eventually at 20 degrees Taurus. We're at 14 now. Now, Uranus takes about, 7 years to transit one sign. We're about halfway through. So it's about 3.5 years ago when Uranus went into Taurus. We have another 3.5 years to go, roughly. So be aware, prepare yourself, enjoy the ride, expect the unexpected. How about that, Karen? Okay. I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, Nigel. Now, I haven't seen Nigel since I was a kid. Well, not a kid, but in my 20s. And I wanted to be a pop star, and I had record deals and publishers and managers, and I played guitar, and I was singing, and I'm doing shows, and all of that kind of stuff. And I just kind of assumed, and everyone else kind of assumed, that I was going to be rich and famous in some kind of pop group. Well, guess what? It never happened, as you can tell. Anyway, I never really made it in the music business because I'm basically like an artist, writer, and a musician. I have a very, very dominant, prominent Neptunian aspect. Spacey, dreamy, psychic, spiritual, blah, blah, blah. It's great for being a pop star, musician, or writer, but it's heavily conflicted. So basically, I blame the planets. I was never destined to make it in the first place. It took a while for me to get over that, but it's okay now. On the other hand, my brother, with whom I worked very closely, Nigel, I worked very closely. Julian, I worked very closely. My brother is very successful in the music business today. Nigel went on because he was our roadie in one of the bands. And he loved it. And I had motorcycles and leather jackets and boots and everything. But then I kind of gave up on all of that stuff, and I gave it over to Nigel. So Nigel had leather jackets and leather boots and gloves, and I let him ride my motorcycles, and he was in heaven. In heaven. And he set up. After I quit the bands, it all fell apart. We all went our separate ways. My brother went on to be a successful businessman in music. Julian went on to be a successful businessman in music. Nigel went on to be a successful businessman in motorcycle couriers. Who would have guessed? And he did that till the day he died. Literally, to the day he died. I only discovered all of this because of my friends back in England I don't see them very much, but my brother does, because my brother's still very close to all our buddies back in England when we were doing pop groups and rock bands and so on. And so my brother went to the funeral for Nigel, and it seems like it was a very heartfelt, delicious, warm event. But what happened for me personally is that when I got the news that Nigel had died, it wasn't really a problem for Nigel, because he came to me in spirit. And he was just so benevolent and loving and huggy. And kind of like the best mate you could ever want. Now, whether you are male or female, don't worry about it. But just imagine you're in a situation. For guys, it would be something like this. He's somebody where you'd want to sit down at a bar and have a beer and a whiskey and tell all your stories, and it would just be awesome, epic. So if you're female, imagine this similar situation for yourselves. So Nigel was one of these guys. He was full of love. He just loved life. Everybody loved him. He was very loving and he was very loved. And he made it his business to serve others by being this motorcycle courier. And he turned that into a business where he had a lot. He became the businessman and had business partners and accountants and all of that. And then he had drivers, and motorcyclists and trucks and vans and cars that worked for him. But all that was just an extension of his good nature. So anyway, when I got news that he died, I had these very powerful, I guess you could call them connections or visions or spirit feelings. Just it's the same thing that you get when you have or when I have an encounter with somebody where I'm doing. I don't do this. I don't offer this as a service, but when you work with people who've passed over, okay. I've done that for people. I do it because I can connect with them. And it's very real. It's just like real life. But of course, it isn't. Because they're dead and you're here. But it feels like real life to me. And so I'm like an intermediary. I'm really just a conduit. I'm just an instrument. I'm just like a intermediary. But anyway, once I heard the news, Nigel came to me. And he was in his full splendor. He had his leather jacket on, and he gave me a big, bro hug, man, love you, man, love you, man. And I felt the same for him, too. It was an amazing experience. I was crying a lot when I found out that he died. And then I recovered, and I realized, you know what, it's okay. He had a full life. He was so loving and so loved. Truly, he really, really was. He's just one of those people where everybody who knew him loved him. There you go. I just got to check the chat. Hold on. Ninja Yuko, Taurus, 14 degrees in your 9th house, Karen Clark. Oh, I talked to you about Karen, all right, 20 degrees Taurus. Ninja Yuka, I have no planets in Taurus, but I have opposition. Taurus, 14 degrees in Scorpio. Okay, so, Ninja Yuka. Guess what's happening right now? Venus is roughly in 14 degrees Scorpio, so that is conjoining your Pluto. Wow! Pluto 17 degrees. Wow. So you are one of the Pluto in Scorpio generation. Probably mid-80s or something. So this is a very sweet conjunction. When you have Venus in Scorpio roughly conjoining your Pluto in Scorpio? So, Ninja, you're here for a reason. I think you're here for a very simple reason, that you just needed to have a little bit of a jolt, bit of a wake up, that everything is exactly as it should be. You've done your own self-analysis. Look at that. I have no planets in Taurus, but I have an opposition, 14 degrees in Scorpio, Pluto, 17 degrees. Venus in Scorpio conjoining your Pluto in Scorpio. That is sweet. Very, very sweet. I'm happy for you, Ninja. To me, that tells me that you are on path. Stay on path. Be loving and be loved. Continue to live your life as a big adventure. Yeah, I see it, Ninja. I see it. I know exactly what you're talking about right here. Mary Huston. Hello. Oh my God. Hi, Mary. Gosh, you haven't been here in a long time, have you? Oh my God, you're killing me. My mom just died and I have the plot. But I need $1,100, I guess, for opening and closing at Ottawa Hills Memorial. Oh my God. That's a lot of money. Oh my God. Hello, Mary. Yeah, I think it was years ago, but I think we did a couple readings together, didn't we? So, Mary, all I'm feeling right now is just ask for the healing power of love to fill your life from up above. Especially when it concerns $1,100 for opening and closing at the Ottawa Hills Memorial. Please help me. Please send me a sign. Okay? It's really that simple, okay? Oh, hold on. Sarah Lake Mitchell. I see your notes there. Sarah Lake Mitchell. It says, I have to get you to read my chart. Is that your complex reading on your site? Well, you can do both. Honestly, Sarah, what it comes down to is my time. Okay? If I do a shorter reading, I charge that much. If I do a bigger reading, I charge that much. So the basic one, I think, is $45. The big one's $70. So we can do a lot with the $45. I'm not kidding. We can do a lot with that. If you really want the luxury of just like taking the time so we can just cruise through it all, you do the big 70, okay? It's up to you. You can go to the website. It looks like this. Okay, this is the donation page. But if you go over, Sarah, if you go to the readings page, it's at the top. It just says readings. Just click that. And you can see where to buy a reading. You just click on that, do the follow-ups, and we'll connect. We'll do the emails, and we will book a time and a day. And then what happens is I need a little bit of advance notice so that I can collect all your data and information, and I can have a little preliminary look at your charts and everything like that, so I can get a feel for things. And once I have that, then we can schedule a time and day to do your actual reading. Now, your actual reading would be live one-on-one in person. It's just you and me, okay? So we can say whatever we want, do whatever we want, and it's live through Zoom, and we record it, okay? So it's an actual recording, so you don't have to take notes or anything. You can just record it, and if you want to re-examine something in your reading later on, you can just click the file and open it and go, oh, yeah, right, got that. Okay. Oh, well, I'm really glad. Honestly, I don't really want to do any more readings tonight anyway. I'm really enjoying just hanging out with you guys. I don't often get the chance to do this. I feel like I just bulldoze through the readings. But this is actually kind of fun. It's really kind of fun to hang out with you, and you come up with these spontaneous revelations. And it takes us on to a whole new conversation. That's so cool. Yeah, so Sarah, it's really easy. You're here, all right? If you can figure out how to get here live Tarot Illumination Sunday evening, you can figure out how to get a reading. Go to tarotillumination.com, click the readings page, go there. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can just click the PayPal button because everything goes through PayPal, but you can just select to use a debit or credit card. It's the same. In the end, it's just the same thing. It's just a transaction, right? But anyway, yeah, I would be more than honored to have a full-on or semi-full-on consultation with you. It's a lot of fun. Okay? All right. Okay. If anyone else has any issues, this is the time to bring it up. I am going to go over here for a second. I want to have a little top up. I'll keep an eye on the chat. If nobody else has anything going on, then we'll just wish everybody good night and go from here. It's been a pleasure to read for you, Gregory. And I'm glad that sometimes it has ripple effects for other people. Yeah, Sarah, it's pretty easy to figure out. You just kind of have to figure out a time and day in your, future when things feel like they could line up for you. But let's have a look. What's that? Give me a second. I got to read these things on the screen. Should be able to figure it out. You remember 1, 2, 3? Same person talking to you now. I subscribe to my main channel. 1, 2. What? 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. Are you connected to Mona Berkness? Am I? Anyway, I got to read the rest. Sarah Lake Mitchell. I've had a reading before, and the person told me I have a lot of fire signs in my chart. Okay, but I have no idea of anything else more specific. Well, so what? Okay, we can do a lot more than just telling you whether you have fire signs in your chart. Okay, so don't worry about that. We can go deep, deep into the gooey stuff at the depths of your soul. Oh, don't you worry. That's the first stuff that I look at. Ninja Yika, we do have a lot of cool conversations. Yeah, okay. Ninja Yika, not long or often, but when we are connecting, it just seemed to work out really well. Okay. I've given you my first thoughts. Ninja Yika. No connection to Mona Berkness. Damn! Why am I not clicking? Okay, Ninja, you're in the UK, but you're born in the Netherlands. Why am I not clicking? I don't know. I don't know. Just, Ninja, you just need to know. In fact, everybody needs to know. I do not store anything in here. I do extensive readings for people all over the world. Little tarot, big astrology, big tarot, little astrology combos, whatever. And then I do these recordings, and then I save the files, and then they are stored, and they are sent over to the client. But I don't remember anything. As soon as the reading is over, it's just like, I'm gone, I'm out of there. I might get a feeling, like with Gregory earlier. Gregory and I have worked together several times before. So we have history. And the history does influence the nature of the reading. But in general, I work with clients as though we just met. The reason I do that, and the reason I don't like to carry huge files of history, is because that just becomes like dead weight of expectation. It doesn't work in my world. When I'm helping people, the only thing that counts is now. Now, now, now. What now? What now? What now? And it takes us in a very, very crispy kind of way into the present moment, where the past is what it is and the future could be what it is. But what counts is right now, because all your power lies in the now. All your power lies in the now. You make your decisions in the now. When you decide not to decide, that's a decision. When you decide to do this and you do it, that's a decision. When you decide not to do that, that's a decision. Oh my God, Ninja, I don't get it. Why am I not clicking? You always think I'm from Norway, and then I explain that life and you live in the UK. But you're from the Netherlands. And I have done some readings for you. Okay. Okay. Oh, hold on. There's some notes from Love Triber. Ninja, what is your rising sign? Virgo, Love Triber. If you go to other astrology channels, watch for your rising sign. Yep. Love Triber has indirectly pointed out that I don't really do massive videos, 24 videos per month for all the astrology and all the tarot for all 12 sun signs in astrology. I don't do it anymore. So you're going to have to go to another channel. But if you want to get into what we do here, there's only one place to go, and that's here. So there you go. Sounds like Rush lyrics, okay? Oh God. Okay. All right. Talking about the now, here's where things stand right now. We did one reading tonight. Thank you very much, Mr. Ross. And I've had a chance to just go blibbity 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 at will. It's been amazing because the show has not been shut down. As you know, over the last 3 weeks or so, every show has been shut down. And then I have to reboot it again. But we're okay today for whatever reason. I think it's because I'm learning how to be more diplomatic. So I don't annoy or insult the great powers that be in ways that make them want to press the delete button. No. So we're still here. God, I wish we could just hang out in person. That's one of my big dreams. It's like I have this really cool place. And I'm so rich that I can invite my friends over. You guys are like my friends. I know we're not like, it's not like we hang out at bars together or meet up for lunch or whatever, but I still view all of you from here. And I've been very, very, very lucky with this channel to actually made friends in person with a handful of people. And it's an amazing thing, I can tell you. It's truly an amazing thing when, well, look at it this way. Imagine you had your own special channel for doing very obscure, weird, occultish kind of things. And you made connections with a small number of people on your wavelength. And then you get the chance to meet them and share your life in person with them. And you clickety, clickety, click like that. It's amazing. Well, I can tell you because I've had that. And it's real. And it's freaking awesome. And I've had that. And I know what it's like. So one of my, it's like almost, it's not just a dream. It's almost like a fantasy because it seems so unobtainable. Is that I could have a place where the whole scamdemic is over and I don't worry about money anymore. I'm loaded. I'm just mysteriously, magically, somehow or other, loaded. And I can say, hey, do you want to come hang out in real time? Here's your plane ticket. Here's your Uber rides. All you need to do is take time off from whatever else you're doing. And then we make it happen. Yeah. So, I'm working on that. That's a project. That's a very, very high ambition project. I'm not quite there yet. Ninja Yika. Okay, this is personal now. Dear Ninja Yika, I want to get to the root of this. Why do I keep thinking you're from Norway, but you're actually from the Netherlands? Why do I keep thinking you're connected to Mona Bjerknes, but you don't even know who she is? And we've worked together before, so why am I not clicking? Zzz, zzz. Love Triber knows all of my little idiosyncrasies. She also knows all of my big idiosyncrasies. No, the video did not freeze just then. That was me faking it. Wow, I'm having so much fun tonight. I've only done one reading, but I'm having so much fun. It's just because I'm hanging out with you guys. And the way it feels to me is though we are just this far away from hanging out in person. I'm not kidding. That's how things work for me in my world. It's kind of hard to explain. I know some of you here, for example, a lot of you have heard of Necessary Truth. Okay. She's a psychic medium. Right? And she does remote viewing, right? And she's totally on it. She doesn't have to explain it. She doesn't have to go into a trance or anything. It's just there. Click. Right? Okay? I know a few other people, face to face, seriously, from this channel. And each of them are equally awesome in their own way. The value is equal. It's all super, super, super love at these kind of levels. But how it expresses itself and how it is exchanged and conducted is completely different. When I say things like, be loving, be loved, there are no rules. The way that you are loving can be very different from the way that I am loving. Get it? It's what we it's highly specialized, okay? Yes, it was 1, 2, 3. I remember that thing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I remember that. Ah, sorry. I'm sorry if I lost the drift of the conversation. It was like, okay. Do you have another username? Okay, so you guys figure that out amongst yourselves. I'm gonna try and follow on where I was talking. Okay, Mary Jose, I'm so tired of running for people in hospitals. I am tired. I go back to work at Northridge tomorrow. More people have moved out. Mary, it sounds like you're under quite a lot of pressure. Is this because of the bug? That bug from CHINA? Oh. Hold on. Ninja and Love Tribe are having a conversation. I have to use other names. Well, okay. All right. Well, you guys figure it out amongst yourselves. I said something in the last few minutes that I've never really shared before. I kind of hinted at it like 3 years ago. Remember, this channel has been going for March 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, April, May, June, July, August, September. This channel has been going for 4 years and 5, 6, 7 months, okay? Hello, Necessary Truth. Yeah. I was just talking about you, by the way. I was telling everybody how awesome you are at remote viewing and connecting with the spirits from the great beyond after they've passed over. And how you just do it like that. It's just because who you are. That's who you are. That's what you do. You have one of these little skills in your pocket, and it's just like, yeah, that's what I do. Yeah. Yeah. I do that. Yeah. Yeah. Hi. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. I'm just seeing something from Ninja. And you mentioned something about leggings, creating patterns on leggings, and we had some content over the email. Okay. Okay, Ninja. Okay, so Ninja, we're going to have to work something out, okay? I'm kind of frustrated because I feel like I'm like some kid with a little puzzle and I can't solve it, and I'm going berserk. I'm going berserk because I can't solve the puzzle. You wish you had a friend you could talk to. Hey, well, you're here. It seems like everybody's spilling out tonight, including me, so you might as well do it too, okay, Mary? Oh, look, here's Boo Boo. Boo Boo. Boo Boo is twice the weight of Bubba. Boo Boo is a big boy. He doesn't jump around as much or leap from the floor up onto chairs and tables like Bubba. I don't know. He's going away. Wait a minute. He's back again. Light unconditional. Light unconditional. Oh. Diamonds. Hold on. What's that? Diamond State Growers. Oh. Well, hey. We're reaching a little weird transition point at the moment. Boo Boo just arrived. And I'd like to introduce Boo Boo. Meanwhile, Diamond State Growers just arrived and says, welcome, Mary. Necessary Truth. Oh, Boo Boo. This is one of those unpredictable Uranus and Taurus moments. Stay right there. Boo boo, I'm going to say hi to everybody. Okay? I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to pick you up and show you off. Here's big bad boo boo. This is Boo Boo. Hi, Boo Boo. Oh. That's Boo Boo. Here we go. All right, I'll put you down again. Oh, thank you, Boo Boo. Oh. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. Boo Boo was there, and it's getting very close to their dinner time. So, please don't be surprised if I have to close down the show in a few minutes, okay? Because these little fellows, they need their food. Ninja, there's nothing more I can say or nothing more I can do. We're just going to have to figure it out one-on-one, okay? We'll do that. What I'd like to do is if you could please get in touch with me. Go to Lumination.com, or you know what, here's the easy fast way. Hold on. Here's one way. This is it, because it's the same email address, whatever. This is my address. A little book about at yahoo.com. Please get in touch, and I'd like to do a very brief courtesy update. Okay? So, basically so that I can get myself back in order again, for whatever reason. Some people are okay with loose ends and whatever. I'm kind of one of these people. I like everything's to be lined up, you know? Everything in its place, and a place for everything. I'm one of those. Yeah. Little Bubba and Boo Boo. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. So I'm just curious. Can I just go back in the chat for a minute? Diamond State Growers. Diamond State. I feel like doing a search online for Diamond State, and then growers. That's probably something to do with marijuana or veggie herbs or something like that. Could you please give me some clues? I'm not feeling very psychic at the moment or anything, so I can't figure it out. It would be so much easier if you just typed it on the screen. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. I'm very happy that you're here. Ninja, I am. Okay. Alright, okay. So, Ninja Yiko. Okay, we'll do this because I don't want to have loose ends. And this is part of the Mercury retrograde. We're on the moment of stationary retrograde right now. So this is a perfect time. I have a wonderful song called It's the Perfect Time. Anyway, check in over a year and we'll figure it out. I'll do a little courtesy update for you, okay? Cards and all that. Oh! Oh, Jeffrey. That's funny. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're right at the very root of it all. You're an actual grower. Wow. Wow. Is that why you moved to Ohio? So you could get access to some raw land? Hold on. Tina. Oh, Tina! What's going on? Diamond State. And what is the Diamond State? Is that Nevada? Because I know they have mining here. There's gold mining, silver mining, lithium mining. Maybe it's Utah. I don't know. But it's Diamond State. Anyway, please type it in. I'm very curious. Hold on. What's this out there? Scott. Hello, Scott. Are you taking questions? Because I have a question I like to have answered. Oh, okie dokie. What are Derek? I don't know. Yeah, let's just do this, people. You know, normally I do all this stuff where I posted that. I posted that, and I am new to YouTube. Okay. Hold on, Scott, there's no list. Actually, Scott, you turned up on kind of a night that's kind of strange. Usually what happens, I've been doing this channel for about 4.5 years. It went great up to the point of the end of 2018, when the channel was attacked more and more and more, to the point where it was attacked and destroyed. And all that's left is what we have here today. Right now, all I'm doing is one show every Sunday where I do these paid live tarot readings. YouTube is a very strange place. You are guilty until proven innocent. Okay? And that's what happened to me. And so I have to live with that. Okay? Now, Maria Diamond. Howdy, neighbor. Wait a minute. What's all this stuff? Maria Diamond, are you anything to do with Diamond State Growers? Anyway, let's get back. Scott. What are Derek Bellinger's feelings and intentions towards me? Okay, let's ask it. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? Because tonight isn't really all about the money. I came here tonight really mostly because I wanted to hang out with you guys. I really didn't want to do any readings at all. Gregory booked one. We did a great reading for Gregory. Let's move on, okay? All right, let's do this. Come on, folks. Everyone who's been here before. Oh, hold on. But I kept the name of Mara. I will be applying with the name Diamond State. Okay. Tina, I wasn't really going to do hardly any readings tonight at all. I really just opened the show and the channel because I didn't want to let people down, and I felt kind of weird, like, oh my God, what happens if I just don't show up? And I felt kind of guilty. So I can do a mini reading. There's someone in front. There's this fellow Scott. Thanks, Love Traveler. Rephrase your point. Okay, I'm going to go back. Give me a second. Thank you, Ninja. Just send an email. We'll follow up. I'm serious, okay, Ninja? We'll follow up. I want to go back. Tina just showed up. Hi, Tina. We could do a mini reading for Tina, but I got to take care of this fellow Scott here. Oh, Arkansas is known as this Diamond State. Okay. Okay, I'm going back up to your first note there, Scott. What are Derek Bellinger's feelings and intentions towards me? Okay, you know what? We're just going to dive right in. Scott, hold on to your pants. Derek Bellinger. Okay, we don't have to know anything. Tina, if you want to put something in the pot, sure. Yeah. You can do it super chat. It's better if it goes PayPal through the channel, tarotlumination.com and all that. All right, Scott. Okay, let's do this properly, folks. All right, we have a gentleman here, Scott Thompson. This is kind of like an initiation. Scott, this is an unusual show tonight because normally it's all planned out and people pay for their readings in advance and everything. But frankly, tonight it's like the Wild West. So we're going to work for you right now. And we're going to deal with this issue regarding your concerns about, who is it? Where is it? Where's your question? Where's your... Okay, so Love Triber said rephrase your question. Okay, so there's a point to that. It's like... I'm scrolling through the chat right now. I'm trying to find... give me a second. Give me a second. Anyway, you're concerned about this other person. All right. Okay, thanks, Tina. Got it. Got it. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, but I can't really handle a lot of readings tonight. Tina. All right. So we're going to read for Scott, okay? Then we're going to read for Tina, but that's it. I can't take any more tonight, all right? Just to let you know. I'm way too, let's say, I'm not ready, willing, or able to handle anymore. I can work with you, Scott. I can work with you, Tina, but that's it. No more donations. I would love to have all the money in the world, but okay. Okay, Scott. So we're dealing with you, your concerns between yourself and Derek. Okay. All right, hang in, Scott. Wow, I'm actually really glad that I did the show tonight. I was so close to just not showing up. Just a complete no-show. But I'm really glad I did it now. I really needed this. Like, I need to do these things because sometimes if I don't do them, I feel awful. It's weird, isn't it, how this all works out? Alright, here we go. Alright, cards are well shuffled. Scott, what I use is the Tarot Lumination situational spread. It's really a very simple diagnostic tool. That's all it is, okay? And we ask for the healing power of love to fill our lives from up above. We ask that the messages that you need to hear come to you tonight. What are the messages that you need to hear tonight, Scott, regarding your concerns regarding Derek, okay? Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. So it's a relationship situation, which doesn't surprise me, again, because we've got these two big oppositions happening here. We got this opposition here with and Mars and Libra directly opposite Chiron and Aries. That's a very difficult, awkward, volatile opposition. And we also have the opposition going on here between Venus and Scorpio and Uranus and Taurus. So relationship issues. This axis here, okay, Scott, and this axis here, that's all about relationships. You and the other and you. We're going to look at the, let's say, external influences, what I would call basically the effects of the sacred geometry, the gravitational impact of the planets, and so on. Okay? Here we go. All right. The Empress. Dear Scott. So this is kind of like an influence type of energy. The Empress, it's all about fertility, lusciousness, the energy of Venus here, right? Okay, that's the symbol of Venus right there. Venus is at the in basic astrology, like for the personal planets, it's all about love and relationships, like on the romantic scale. So when I see the Empress here, this is your reading about you, Scott, relative to Derek, okay? So what this feels like to me, Scott, is like, are you appropriate for Derek? Is Derek appropriate for you? It looks to me that what really counts here is a feeling of like an equality, like a match, where this is going to sound really like stupid, but okay. I don't know whether this is business or romance or whatever. Male-to-male romance, male-to-male business, male-to-male friendship, whatever it is. But when I see the Empress here, like the surrounding energy, it's very much to do with Taurus energy. And it's very tangible, very, very physical, very tactile, very real. When I see it in this reading, I see the key word that comes to me is worthiness. Are you worthy of Derek? Is Derek worthy of you? Does that make any sense? So just put that on the side for the time being. Because right now, you're asking for a reading, and you're getting basically a free mini reading. Well, we're looking at the energy fields around that. Like, what are the messages that you need to hear regarding your situation with this person, Derek? And the first thing that comes here is this Empress. The way that feels to me is about your own splendor, your own desirability, your own awesomeness, your own majesty. And for things to work, I don't know if you've heard this in terms of relationship dynamics, but it's really satisfying when you have like someone who's like an equal and opposite. If you are like, this is going to sound really awful, but like if you're one of these people, you're up here and they are down here, that could be a relationship of exploitation. Or if you're down here and they're up here, that could be a relationship of exploitation. Either way, it would mean compromising oneself or the other in order to kind of gain access to climbing a ladder of so-called apparent desirability. When I see the Empress here, to me it feels like what really counts here is that Are you a match for Derek? Is Derek a match for you in whatever aspect that might be? Because any kind of serious disparity is not going to work. Okay? Okay. Okay. So, let's go. Gotta keep going. Alright. Another thing about this Empress card is that it's very sensual. It's materialistic. It's to do with beauty and art. There might be like the situation might involve like the actual physicality of connection. Like you might be connected with Derek in such a way that could be satisfying. Derek might be connected to you in a way that could be satisfying. But what we really need to know is that is there really a genuine match? Are you really on par? It's not going to work if you are, no insult to you, no insult to Derek, but if you're here and he's there, or if you're here and he's there, it's not going to work. Okay? What's the situation itself? Okay. What it looks like is like in kind of a very idealized Neptunian kind of manner. It's like what you're looking for and what you would like is to have happiness at home, where you can feel that you are loving and that you are loved, where there's a high degree of compatibility. Please, again, Scott, no insult, but it's the same feeling that I get here as when I connect with an animal, where I spontaneously fall in love with an animal, and that animal loves me, and it's pure love. It's unconditional love. It doesn't matter how tall you are, short you are, how rich you are, how beautiful you are, how ugly you are. It's just pure love. Okay? So that's the situation. That's what I'm sensing here. And that to me feels like the pivot point of the whole situation. It has to work in a way that it feels very, very mutual, very harmonious, and very, very balanced, where you're the right person for Derek and Derek is the right person for you. What's the problem here? Okay, with the Six of Swords here, my feeling is, I'm just going to come right out with it. It feels to me that remember, this is your reading about you in the context of this person, Derek. It's not a couples reading. I do completely separate, different couples readings. If you want to do that, you have to come here and we have to do a private reading. But for now, in public, we're just doing it this way. So when I see the Six of Pentacles here, my feeling is this isn't a very challenging position. Here, this is the challenge. Like, if it doesn't work out, you just drop everything and move on. If it doesn't work out for Derek, they just drop everything and move on. So there's a deep fear. To me, it looks like there's a deep fear of committing and following through on something, and then the deep fear of being dumped. You dumping Derek or Derek dumping you. And then you end up kind of in a solitary place where you have to just keep going on in a perpetual nomadic journey, trying to seek out and find a very beautiful, almost idealized relationship dynamic. So that's very tough. Scott, it looks to me like you've set the standards very high for yourself. Okay? In which case, it's important that you attract someone who sets the same parallel standards for themselves. Otherwise, the degree of incompatibility will eventually show up and you will just disappear or they will just disappear. All right. So, how do we handle this? I mean, it looks like There's potential here, but that potential is, let's say, influenced by perhaps fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of being dumped, fear of you dumping someone because it doesn't work for you, fear of the other person dumping you because it doesn't work for them. How do we deal with this? Okay, here's an easy way to look at it. With the Six of Cups, it's really important to look at this as a past life reincarnation situation. Okay? In some other lifetime, Scott, you and Derek have known each other before. Derek knew you, you knew Derek. And something happened to the point where it became untenable. So you either had to move on or Derek had to move on. You just take what you can get and move on and find peace and happiness again. That's fine. But now here we are with all these retrogrades. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and now Mercury, where we're talking about past life reincarnation happening right now. So my feeling is that if we did a really heavy-duty, in-depth relationship analysis, you would discover that you, Scott, and Derek, you've already known each other in a past life, okay? So what are we going to do in this lifetime right now? In this lifetime right now, with the Six of Cups, it looks like a reunion. It looks like, like a blood bond, almost like, when soldiers reunite after warfare in another lifetime. I know about this stuff, Scott, because I've had to deal with this personally as well. But it might be that you've had intense interactions before in other lifetimes where there was great pain and great loss, great joy and great harmony. But it was too extreme and it became unsustainable. And so things fractured. But now you're here again, perhaps in a more mellow, safer time where you can afford to reconnect in this lifetime and pick up and follow up where you guys left off. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope that makes sense. And the only way to deal with it is by allowing yourself to live with the possibility that this might not work. Okay? So the way to handle the situation is understand that there's a possibility this is not going to work. On the other hand, you won't know until you try. So you do it. You go for it. Okay? There's no question that love exists here. That's not the issue. The issue is the viability of like the practical implications. Is it viable in this lifetime right now? Even if it isn't, it's worth the reconnection just to like have like some kind of bond with a soulmate. Okay? There's no question you've known each other before, and it could be an incredibly satisfying experience literally just for the sake of reconnecting. It doesn't mean you have to be life partners, business partners, whatever from there. It's just like a deep soul bond, soulmate connection that needs to be acknowledged and honored. I'm sure you can handle this, okay? Thank you, Scott. Hope that helps you. Next up, Tina. All right, let's have a look at this. Actually, let me just put these out of the way. Thank you, Mr. Ross. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. We're going to move over to Tina. Hey, by the way, Scott, if you noticed, you're getting auxiliary backup support from other people here. A lot of people that come to the channel are readers, psychics, remote healers, energy healers anyway, so this is not unusual. Just take it for what it is, okay, Scott? I hope the reading helped you. That was just a freebie fun one because we could do it because we can. Thank you, Scott. All the best, Scott. Keep us posted. Come and hang out with us again and let us know how things go over the next few months. All right, Tina, here we go. Some of you know Tina very well. She's been a participant in this channel since the very early days. A lot of us have shared our stories with each other. The beauty of it is that we don't have to carry the burdens. We live and let live. We're here for each other while we're here for each other, and then that's it. Everything is in a constant state of flux. And for a lot of human beings, that's a problem, because most human beings struggle just to cope day by day. And so when they get a sense of stability, they want to hold on to it. So many people feel so unstable that their sole purpose is to create stability. And then when they've created stability and perhaps generations of legacy and wealth, and then something screws it all up, and you realize, what was the point? Anyway, everything is in a constant state of flux. Like my sister said, don't have any expectations and you won't be disappointed. What's that note there from Necessary Truth? What is that one? Can you see that, people? I don't know what that's about, but I don't know what that is, but it sounds like one of these legendary messages. Lots of love, Trevor. No Pintos. So I don't know a lot about Pintos, but it was a legendary car. I think it was called the Ford Pinto. And everybody knew it's like one of the worst cars on the planet. The worst car ever designed, built, used, driven. So, no Pintos during a retrograde. You can look at a Pinto, you can talk to the Pinto, you can test drive the Pinto, but hell no, do not take the Pinto home. It's a Pinto. Thank you, Scott. Keep us informed. Yeah, it would be really great. Nice to have you on board. Tina Miller. TL, I'm taking my time, and when this move happens, it will be for me. Excellent. Excellent. Perfect. All right, let's have a look. So we're just going to have a... We're going to have a look. Ava is a rock star. So, in case you don't know, people, Ava is the search and rescue dog of Tina Miller. Okay? Okay. Here we go. Let's see, what kind of messages do we have here for Tina tonight? Tina is giving herself time and space to move when she wants, how she wants, if she wants, when she wants, where she wants. Good enough. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Let's have a look at external influences, which of course I always dedicate to the planets. So we have justice. So my first instant feeling here with the justice card is that, dear Tina, everything is perfect. Everything is exactly as it should be. Everything is unfolding according to what do you call it? According to the divine. I don't know what else to say. You are assessing your reality for better or worse. You're making decisions about what to do with your reality for better or worse. You're already HSP, high sensory perception. You're already high evolved. You're already compassionate by nature. So that's not really the issue. It's really a question is, where do we go from here? Now, we've worked together before, Tina, and one of your subjects is about relocation. So we've worked on that a little bit already, and things are moving on. Got to keep exploring, got to keep studying these things. But what I sense here with the Justice card is that literally everything is kind of like lining up exactly the way it should be, in a way that works for you. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy or simple or quick, okay? But the way I feel here with the Justice card is that you will learn what you need to learn, know what you need to know, get the inspiration that you need to get, have the spontaneous guidance, intuition, exactly when you need to get it and when it happens. That's what I'm sensing here. And it will ultimately be for your highest good. Okay. This is a very, very strong, but very, very neutral energy. The Justice card is saying here, like, it's almost like you don't have to decide right now. You don't have to pinpoint anything right now. In fact, it's probably the worst thing that you could do. With the Mercury retrograde, and then add in all the other retrogrades from the last few months, the best thing you can do is get with the flow, keep doing what you're doing, research, study, observe your life in your world right now, your immediate environment, and then use that as a kind of like springboard. Bing! Wow. How would I like things to be? Bing! And follow through like we already started to do. And then repeat the process and start refining things more and more and more and more. Like if you want to talk about relocation, for example, you know, take a really broad view and then gradually, very systematically, thoroughly refine things and take things down to a couple of key marker points that you can actually put on a map and go from there. Hi Heather, I see you. Okay. Here's the situation. Okay. Well, I don't know if you remember this, Tina, but I do, even though I don't store readings or anything. But before we had our last in-depth person-to-person reading, we had something similar to the Ten of Swords. And the indication is still here the same. Okay? It feels to me like you're really at the end of the road here. Where you are right now, the way things are situated. There's no other way to describe it. This is it. It's done. It's over. The show is over. There's no point in trying to justify your presence in your current situation. It's time to move on. It can't get any worse. Well, I guess it could stay worse if you insist on staying, but it's done. We're over here, okay? In some ways, the beauty about the Ten of Swords here is that it's very clear. It's very, very simple. There's no ambiguity. The show is over. The way things are right now, it's over. It's not sustainable. It's not healthy. It's not justifiable. There is no logic or reason or anything to justify keeping things going as they are, okay? What's the problem here? Oh, so with the Empress here in this situation, it feels to me like the real problem is like you really, really love the feeling of being such a benevolent like source of fertility and provider, almost like it's like an infinite supply of abundance to those around you. But that's actually a problem because you are finite, Tina. There's only so much you can do. And what I'm sensing here with the Empress is that it's time for you to put yourself in first place. I don't know if I've done enough work on your charts or astrology or anything like that to justify what I'm saying right now, but because you are very compassionate by nature and you've really seriously extended yourself to your family and your loved ones only to arrive at this situation, that's a very, very clear message that this is not tenable. So you go on forward like, it's very painful, it's tragic that it's not tenable because it should be tenable, but it isn't. Okay? And so you end up in a situation of like feeling perhaps extremely unappreciated, extremely impoverished, extremely, let's say, diminished in your womanhood, your femininity, your whole sense of being, because of having lived a life of almost sacrificial, self-sacrificing compassion. And as we all know, that is not healthy. And so you have to start to turn things around to the point where, and this isn't the cure here, but to the point where you're not in a kind of a self-destructive vortex. So how do we move forward? Okay, we move forward by moving forward. I hope that makes sense. It's very, very, very simple, Tina. We move forward by moving forward. You have already planted seeds. You have already started to explore new horizons, new destinations, new lifestyles, literally a whole new life that awaits you up ahead. You have already started. You're already doing it. But the fact is you're doing it in your current circumstances, which are not wholesome. Okay? So in a way, you end up in this situation. The way to handle a situation is to understand, like, okay, it's like talking to yourself, reassuring yourself. Reassure yourself, like, it's like this. Like, okay, come on, Tina. Come on, Tina. We can do this. We can do this. Come on, Tina. We've already figured out that this thing here is not working. Okay? We've already figured out that we have to move on. No matter what. We have to understand we've already planted seeds to move on. And the way to move forward is to stay committed to that decision to move on, to strike out in new horizons, new directions, new frontiers, new lifestyle, new everything. It's already in motion. The show is not over, Tina, by a long way, okay? So, the Three of Wands here, my feeling is that you got to keep doing the homework. You got to keep exploring. You got to keep putting some searches out there. Like you were saying, I missed a lot of stuff on the chat. Can't change them, but you can support it. I don't know any homeopathic treatment. I don't know when you ask right now. Cards are telling me what I know. Sister, there's info out there that on that based on your chart. I'm not an astrologer, but there are certain states in London that would work best for you. Montana would work pretty. Yeah. Montana's not the cheapest place in America, but it has some incredibly healthy locations. We've already talked about this a little bit, Tina, but there's still more homework to do. You've already planted the seeds of relocating, and the important thing here with this reading is to keep going. There is no looking back. You got to keep going, and consider yourself on an epic journey, like an epic life journey, and there's a whole new world opening for you. With all these retrogrades, Tina, okay? This is the time to do the homework. This is the time where you sit in front of a computer and you do lots of searches, through real estate companies, demographics information for different states, cost of living in different towns, climate in different towns. You have to do all the research and then start to narrow it down to a couple of headline places, whichever state it is, that repeat often enough where there's consensus. Okay, we're definitely going to go to blah blah. We're definitely going to check out blah blah. We're definitely going to check out blah blah. Everything from there is kind of secondary. You need like a top 3. You need literally a top 3. Start doing all the homework and the research to pick your top 3 choices of new horizons. These are real life geographical relocations, okay? And you have to trust that nature is behind you. Heaven is with you. The situation you have now is over. It's redundant. It's obsolete. It has to stop. It's time for you to treat yourself, okay? All right. Tina, we can follow up on this another time, okay? No worry. That's perfect. That's exactly, Tina, I see that. I'm looking at everything, TL. It's exactly what you need to be doing. You need to rip everything apart. Look at real estate prices. Talk to some realtors. Talk to some banks, brokers. Talk to, find things in certain communities, locations, places where people live, where you feel a deep sense of harmony, with nature or animals or something like that, where you feel like, click, I like what that person said. And that moves higher up on your list. It's like you have to have a list, and eventually you get a list of your top 3. And then you start from there. That's not the end of the situation. That's the start of the exploration. Tina Miller, when I look out the windows, I want to see trees and mountains. Okay. Number 1, when I look out the window, I want to see trees and mountains. Okay, so you start from there. So you can go to look at real estate places, and you can literally scroll through real estate listings where you can see for sure on the internet that when you look out the windows, you're going to see trees and mountains. That's how you start this process. That's exactly what you do here. And you do not look back. The retrogrades are all about doing the homework. For you, Tina, it's all about doing the homework. It's not about looking back. It's about seriously looking forward. That's it, folks. Thank you, Tina. No more readings. I'm done. I'm just going to shuffle everything up. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with me. I've had a wonderful night myself. I really appreciate your company. Let's check out. Oh, I just read your notes there. Bonner's Ferry looked real good till I went to the city data chat. And all they were talking about was the meth problem. Yeah. So this is all part of the homework. It's like sifting, digging through all that stuff. Dinner time for Boo Boo and Bubba. Absolutely. Thank you, Necessary. All right, I'm going to wrap it up pretty quick here. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Gregory. Thank you, Tina. It's been a pleasure. We will follow up. Thank you, Ninja Yeka. Thank you, everybody. Okay? We'll do this again sometime. Hey, Queen of Water! I just finished the show. Hello, Melbourne. Oh my God, Queen of Water. I've been seeing some horrific news over here on Sky News Australia. Of course, you don't get that on mainstream in America, but I'm not mainstream, but I see what's happening in Australia. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's a fact. It's an fucking nightmare. All right, we're going to wrap it up. I'm just going to get out of here really quick, say goodnight to everybody, and go from there. Take care, everyone. It's been a pleasure.